Welcome everyone. My name is Dr. Elena Michaels, and I'm going to do a tarot card reading and guided meditation for you. This will be available 24/7, and donations would be appreciated but are not required. So I'm going to move forward now with a request. Someone sent me a request and they said, could you do a reading that will be addressing breaking the cords with toxic people? So I'm putting it out there. Let's see what the guides show us. Let's see what cards come up, and we'll pull from a few different decks and see if there's anything that can come up as guidance for cutting the cords and pulling away from and removing toxic people from your life. Okay, from our lives. All right, everybody has them. You know, they're out there, and you can tell energetically if someone feels toxic to you or not, if you don't feel good around them, if you feel kind of off center, on edge, or like they're going to jump down your throat or be critical, or they don't feel safe. They just don't feel safe, which means that at any given moment they can turn on you and they're just not safe. So basically we're going to see what comes up in regards to creating more safety, which is the opposite of being around toxic people who are not safe. So let's just get right into that right now and see what happens. I have several decks here, and we're going to end up with the newest deck that I have, which is the Sacred Forest deck. But I'm going to start with my trusty Rider-Waite deck, which I have used since I was a teenager. Not the same deck, but actually the same deck, but not the same cards. You know, I got new cards over the years because they kind of stick together and get kind of funky after a while. So I'm going to shuffle these and we're going to see what comes up. And we're asking about safety around toxic people. And we're asking about how to break the ties with toxic people. You know, I just got this image. I live by Bridgeport Lake, which is a lake in Valencia, California. And it's a city lake, it's a man-made lake. But I go and sit there sometimes at sunset, and I love walking there. And there are these beautiful ducks there, mallards and other kinds of ducks. And I watch them as they go into the water and do whatever they're gonna do and put their heads down and pop back up, and they don't look wet. So I have this little kind of saying that I do for myself, which is just kind of let it roll off like water off a duck's back. In other words, none of that water sticks to the duck's feathers. They pop out of that water and they look completely dry. So I kind of like be like a duck, you know, I kind of like that slogan, and I kind of got it from sitting there watching those ducks, because they just go down there and nothing comes up with them. They don't carry it with them. They don't carry the water with them. So when bad shit happens, just be like a duck and just let it roll right off of you, because it probably has nothing to do with you anyway. If it does, then look at what you have done and what your part in the situation is, if you even have a part in the situation. A lot of times that's just projection from other people anyway. But look for the wisdom in it, see what your part was, and then just move on. Let it just fall right off of you. All right, we're going to cut the cards now, and let's see what comes up. Okay, this is a lovely woman in her garden. This is a Nine of Pentacles, and right after this is somebody carrying a burden. This is the Ten of Wands, and one more card I got to pull. Oh, many choices. Okay, very good. So I'm going to put this deck aside, and we're going to talk about, actually I'm going to do what I did last time, which is pull all the cards and then do the narrative. Okay? So push it aside, and let's go into this deck now. This is an Archangel deck, and we're going to see what comes up here. Along the same theme still, see, creating a safe space and cutting the cords with toxic people. We all have toxic people in our lives. If you don't think you do, you're not looking hard enough. Anyone that you don't feel safe around, anyone that is just not safe for you, emotionally or mentally or spiritually, someone who's laying trips on you, someone who's sucking your energy, someone who's critical of you. Okay. Okay. Claircognizance. Okay, well, we know what's going on there. Put these aside and move right along to the next deck. We'll have them all laid out at one time. That will give us a nice little story that we can talk about. Once again, the same theme. Usually I don't do themes. I just kind of ask the cards to show us where we need to go. But since that was a request that was sent to me by someone who watches and listens all the time, I wanted to honor that for her. Okay, expression. Gotta create some space here. Expression. All right, getting a little bit of a picture here, what's happening, what the story's gonna be. Moving into the next deck. And I lay the cards out here so they're like a little map for me. And we're gonna see what card comes up here. Still along the theme of cutting the cords with toxic people, creating a safe space. And cut the cards once. Oh, okay, I'll cut them again. All right. There we go. Acceptance. Okay. Create some space here. And the Sacred Forest deck is our last deck we're pulling from here. These are quite lovely cards. The Sacred Forest is kind of like inside of everyone. It's inside of you. And the Sacred Forest, it's kind of like we go into the Sacred Forest and we meet there. And we meet various guides and wise ones in the Sacred Forest. So the card will show us tonight who we're going to meet in the Sacred Forest at the end of this reading. Here's the back of these cards. They're just so pretty. See how pretty they are? These cards were a gift to me over the holidays by a dear friend. Okay, and who are we going to meet? Let's see who we're going to meet. Oh, this person again. The Ancient Oak Spirit, Strength. I don't know if this came up in ours or a private one that I did recently, but it definitely came up recently. So let's put these in order here so I can see them in a way that is lined up for how they came out. I'm not doing a God card tonight because I'm doing the Sacred Forest and, I want to have plenty of time for the guided meditation. All right, here we go. Time to put on glasses. Let's talk about this. See this? This woman this is a 9 of Pentacles. 9 is about taking your own time, having your own space. And she's just blissing out in her garden here. She's done her work, all the Pentacles here. And she's harvesting the blessings of the personal work that she's done, okay? And she's just grooving with a little bird on her hand. And this is a person who knows how to take time alone for themselves. That's what 9 is about. 9 is the Hermit card in the Major Arcana. Excuse me. And so it's important to take time alone to regenerate yourself in nature. See? By the way, something I did recently, I'm going to tell you this. When I was a little girl growing up in Ohio, I don't know if I said this last time at my last video that I did for you, but anyway, I lived in Ohio and we had very green grass, which was always kind of a chore as to who was going to mow the grass, those manual mowers that they had when I was a kid. And my favorite thing to do was lie on the grass and look up at the clouds. And it was just very grounding for me. Probably grounding because I had kind of a tumultuous childhood, and so without realizing it, maybe my desire to ground myself and center myself took me out laying on the lawn. I'm sure the neighbors thought we were nuts, but I would lay out there with any one of the friends that wanted to lay out there with me. And then years later, when I was in high school, I had definitely a very tumultuous time, a very tumultuous and traumatic home life at that point. And we lived next to a golf course, right on the edge of the lake, Lake Erie. And in the evening in the summer, I like to go to the golf green and lay on that smooth, manicured, short golf grass. And that was great. And there were a lot of stars there because we were right on the edge of the cliff, and then it was just miles of water in Canada. So it's called grounding. It's called earthing. And so the other day I was walking, and I just wanted to lay outside. But where I live is a townhouse area. I don't have a lawn, and everybody here has a dog, and the dogs are pooping and peeing all over the place. So, and I had one too, and my dog was pooping and peeing too. So that's what dogs do. But I didn't want to lay in the grass. It doesn't feel like there's a place to lay in the grass. But I was walking thinking about that and how I felt like I wanted to kind of ground my energy to the earth's frequency. And a shaft of light kind of came down from the sky and pointed to an area that was right next to where it's not manicured anymore, and it's just wild mountain. And it's off the road of where people walk with their dog, but not so far off the road, and it's at the edge of where the sprinklers are. So it's not well maintained, but there is some grass there. So I walked over to it. Since the shaft of light came down and showed it to me, I walked over to it and I laid out there for 20 minutes. Just, oh, it was bliss. I just laid in the ground for 20 minutes. Excuse me. And it was amazing. It was very grounding, very centering. It's called earthing. Earthing is something that we very seldom do anymore. But when we were children, we did it a lot. We sat on the ground, we laid on the ground, we laid on lawns, and we don't really do that anymore. We're on our feet most of the time, and we're on pavement, and we're walking on pavement, and we're wearing shoes. And so it was very wonderful to do that. And that's the thing about being in nature. That was me laying down, and above me were I have very tall evergreen trees here. I just watched the leaves, the evergreen needles kind of blowing in the wind. They're very tall. They're like, I don't know, 60 feet tall or something. Just watching them blow. And as I looked this way, there was the top of trees over here. And it was daylight, you know, but it was just gorgeous. Anyway, that's what she's doing. She's centering herself in nature. And so in terms of toxic people and creating a safe space for them, that's something very important to do. The next thing is, in terms of this topic, this is the 10 of Wands. Stop carrying the crap around with you. It's like, it's a burden. Look how bent over he is. Stop carrying the crap. When people behave badly and you feel badly around them, remove yourself and stop trying to carry that with you when you go. Just let it go. Be like a duck. Like I said before, be like a duck. And remember, then we go into some cups. Cups are emotions and water. There's plenty of choices here of how you can respond to situations. Many options. So when you're around someone who's toxic, think before you speak and get yourself grounded. You see how that person is sitting there? See how he's sitting? He's like very grounded and guarded, okay? So think before you speak in those situations, and sometimes it's best not to speak at all. Sometimes it's best just to remove yourself. I've been in many toxic situations, and even most recently in the last few months, a professional toxic situation. And sometimes it's best to just be like a duck and move on. You know, there's no arguing with people who are, I don't want to say stupid, but there's no arguing with people who are at a lower frequency than you are, because they can't understand where you're coming from anyway. And a lot of times, if they're in their ego or narcissistic, they're threatened by where you're coming from. They're threatened by your energetic frequency, which is a higher vibration than theirs. So it's best sometimes just to walk away, but don't speak quickly. Next, claircognizance. This is Archangel Uriel, okay? And this card is about paying attention to thoughts and ideas that come to you as they are unanswered prayers. So if you're with somebody and you get a thought or a feeling like, I'm just going to stick around just to be nice and polite, but I'm really not digging being in this person's energetic frequency field. So listen to your thoughts and your feelings. Move on. Be aware, use your body and your mind to pay attention to thoughts and ideas that come to you. They're answered prayers, they're guidance to you. It's guidance. I'm going to read you more about this, actually. I've got it right here. Those of you who don't know me or haven't been here before know that I yawn a lot when I start going into a trance. And my eyes start to water, I cough, I clear my throat, I need water. Sometimes I get very hot. So that's already starting right now. And with the yawning and my eyes are watering and my throat is definitely dry. All right, I'm going to read you more about claircognizance. This is Archangel Uriel, okay? It's one of the clairs, clairvoyant, clairsentient. Claircognizance is like to recognize. You prayed for answers and they've come to you in the form of repetitive thoughts telling you to take steps and make healthy changes. Don't discount your thoughts or think they're just dreams or common knowledge. Your thoughts are tuned to high frequencies right now and are trustworthy inspirations. All great inventions, new businesses, and teachings stem from the same universal source of wisdom. Did this card come up last week? It may have. It sounds so familiar, but then again, maybe that was a private reading. I've done a few since then. All great inventions, new businesses, and teachings stem from this same universal source of wisdom. See, that's the releasing part that's happening here. You're tapped into that divine wisdom right now, and it's important to notice and record your thoughts, then act upon these answers to your prayers. Uriel's name means the light of God. He's known for his ability to enlighten our minds with divine inspiration. Anytime you need answers or insights, call upon Uriel. So I guess that's kind of like this card right here, which was don't respond too quickly, just kind of ask for guidance. Just sit calmly and be grounded and ask for guidance. You can ask for guidance from Uriel. And he's known for his ability to enlighten our minds with divine inspiration. He answers anyone and everyone who calls upon him. You'll know that he's answered when you have repetitive thoughts or ideas that are positive, loving, and helpful. If you need facts in a hurry, such as during a test or an important meeting, Uriel will supply you with the information. After you ask him for help, the answer will pop into your mind. Trust the information that he supplies. When you ask for questions, when you ask questions and you want answers and you ask for answers, often you'll ask and you'll think, well, I didn't get an answer right away. Maybe it wasn't heard. But you watch, something will just pop right in your mind, and that will be the answer. That will be the direction for you to go in. Glad I have a tissue over here this time. When something pops into your mind like that, it's usually divine guidance. Okay, the next card is expression, okay? Watch your expression. Don't jump, don't react, don't berate somebody instantly. It's really hard when someone is pushing your buttons to just like kind of stay there and just kind of have your center going on. It's a challenge, but these situations happen. sometimes so that we can learn from them to be able to stay centered and grounded in the face of adversity like that. Okay, expression. This card guides you to speak your mind. After all, that's one of the reasons indigos such as you came to Earth. And if you're watching this, you're an indigo, by the way. For so long, people have not spoken up for themselves. As a result, humanity has lived under the tyrannical control of those with power. Now is the time to change, and you are one of the spiritual warriors in charge of initiating that. Always speak your mind, but also be aware of how others react to your declarations. Ask the angels to guide you to communicate in ways that allow you to be heard. Remember the card with the guy sitting and all the cups, all the options? He had to be able to express himself from his emotional place, because cups are emotions. Ask the angels to guide you to communicate in ways that allow you to be heard. If you can express yourself in a manner that people can relate to, your concerns and opinions will be much better received. Okay, I'm going to talk right now about ways to be able to get what you're trying to communicate across to somebody. If someone has upset you, this is what not to do. You really upset me. You are such a horrible person. I can't believe you did that, and you would say that. Now, we've all said something like that to someone who's hurt us, okay? But a better way to say it is to leave the word you out of the statement. So you could say something like, I was stunned by what happened between us. I thought we were closer, and I thought there was more trust between us. So I was really taken aback and shocked by what just occurred, that interaction. You see, when you say that, you have to be very centered to say it, because your tendency is going to want to go, you. But if you can be centered and say that, what it does is it just kind of like lays it out there and lets the other person decide what to do with it. Lets the other person take responsibility, which is what you want them to do when you're saying, you did this and you did that, and you did this. You want them to go, oh, I'm sorry. But they're so busy being attacked by you and your you statements that you're not going to get what you want. So the best way to handle that is to use I statements or we statements or us statements, and just talk about yourself, and then just leave it there and wait and see what happens. And if they don't take responsibility for it, so be it. But if they do, that's what you wanted anyway. You want people to be responsible for their behavior, what they say and what they do. And you want to be responsible for your behavior, what you say and what you do. I can already feel when I'm going into a trance. You can probably pick up on it. I'm kind of talking a little different, and I'm kind of feeling myself going deeper already. But I got to get through these cards. I got to stay here. I got to stay here to get through these cards and stay focused. All right, next we have acceptance, okay? So this was after the expression, remember? And it's going to make sense, because after you've expressed yourself, you just have to accept that whatever's going to be is going to be. Acceptance. Here we go. See yourself and others through the eyes of the angels. Everybody's human, everybody makes mistakes. In this way, you inspire and lift everyone to their highest potential. You receive this card to help your relationships with yourself and others. The next time you're tempted to judge yourself or someone else harshly, pray for their health and happiness instead. This more positive route builds self-esteem and harmony and heals relationships. Here are some additional meanings. Notice how much better you feel when you think positively about yourself and others. Let go of tendencies to force things to happen, and you'll receive your desired or better outcome more peacefully. When one door closes, another one opens. And boy, have I experienced that even recently. When one door closes, another one opens. And the one that opens is often a lot better than the one that closed. Actually, I did a reading the other day for someone who, the last reading I did for her, she had lost the opportunity to get hired at a job, or she was going for an interview to get hired for a job, and she didn't get hired. But right after that, she got this amazing offer. And the cards showed that she was going to get an offer that was going to come out of nowhere like magic. And it came out of nowhere, and it's higher pay, better situation, and she loves who she works with. So she could not have conceived of that situation, but she let go, and it floated right on in. It floated in after the one door closed, which she thought she was going to get. But when you let go of wanting something to happen so intensely, and it doesn't happen, and you let go, something wonderful usually will pick you back in and be better than the first option. Last one is the sacred forest. This is the ancient oak spirit. Look at that beautiful tree, little tree house. And the theme of this is the ancient oak spirit is the entity, and what he's talking about is strength. So, it looks like the Hobbit movie or something. Magical. Okay, so I'm going to read you now about this ancient oak spirit, which is strength. And oak trees are so strong and so old, usually. Okay. In we go to the magic forest. We're entering into the forest. Walking softly into the forest, you can hear the deep sonorous voice of the oak. When the great oak spirit speaks, the forest becomes still and listens. Although you may not be consciously aware of them, powerful and profound messages seep into your soul and can be felt in the core of your being. This card represents standing strong in your truth. It appears as a sign that you need to step into your strength, or conversely, when you are responding to a situation with too much strength. Recall how a strong wind will cause the flexible willow to bend, but the rigid oak branch to break. The appearance of the ancient oak spirit may also foretell mystical experiences ahead. Oak spirit acts as a reminder of the wellspring of power within you. Traditionally, this tree has symbolized endurance, strength, mystical wisdom, courage, and nobility. Remember that inner strength means speaking your truth. Remember? Expression. Speaking your truth without guile or over-explaining yourself. It means living with full authenticity, even if everyone seems against you. The oak tree doesn't need to overtly declare its power. It just is. There may be a blockage in your life or one soon to come. Now is the time to amass your inner strength to move beyond it. This is a card of good fortune. If a dream has eluded you, know that you have the fortitude to achieve your goals. Help from mystical realms is at hand. Believe in your own inner strength. What are currently obstacles that will tomorrow's stepping stones bring success to? What are the obstacles that are the steps to success? That's what obstacles are. They are steps that make us better. The spirit of the ancient oak tree says, you are wise and strong beyond measure. Stand firm and rooted where you are. Speak your truth. You are intuitively guided in the right direction. All right, so remember the topic? The question was, what to do about people who are toxic and how to break those bonds. And the second part, which I added, which is the opposite of that, which is creating safe space for yourself. So, starting from the top. Be in nature and spend time alone in nature so you can get centered and grounded and balanced out. Sometimes you have to walk away from a situation, but don't carry the whole thing with you. Dump it, let it go, put that stuff down. There are many ways to respond to a situation. Don't get all emotionally charged up and just spurt something out. Think about the options and what your choices are and ground yourself beforehand, feet on the ground. He's holding himself there. So think of your options before you speak. Claircognizance, pay attention to your thoughts, your cognition, what is coming to you. Because what is coming to you is often divine guidance. If it's positive, it's divine guidance. It is often necessary to express yourself. Now, you could express yourself by turning around and walking away. You don't necessarily have to express yourself by explaining something in detail about how hurt you were or how someone betrayed you. If you want to say something, but keep it brief and talk about how you feel, how you were surprised, how you were shocked, not about what they did wrong. And then after you've expressed yourself, just accept that you've done what you need to do and move on. Just move forward, go forward, and just accept that what is. And remember, you are stronger than you think you are. Much stronger. And I'm going into a trance right now, so we're going to start with our guided meditation. That's the answer to the question, my dear friend who sent me the note. You know who you are. That's the scenario and the answer to your question of do a reading on how to let go of toxic people and situations and what can be done. I think it's pretty well spelled out, but thank you for the question. I don't often pull a card like that, pull cards for a specific question. But I felt that this question was universal enough that it would be relevant and appropriate and valuable and insightful for everyone because we've all been around toxic situations and toxic people. I am really going into a trance quickly right now. And so make yourself comfortable. Whoa. Okay, I gotta come on back here and get us going. All right, so make yourself comfortable, and I suggest you have your back straight, whether you want to sit up or lie down, have your back straight. And close your eyes and take a few minutes to shift and get comfortable. Get in position and make sure you won't be disturbed. And begin by just naturally watching your breath. Noticing it, how it comes in through your nose. And when it goes out through your nose, it's warm. Any sounds you become aware of that you recognize as everyday normal sounds don't distract you in any way. You find yourself drifting comfortably, noticing your breathing, noticing that if you have thoughts, it's completely and totally normal. There's no need to focus on the thoughts. There's no need to engage with the thoughts. Just let them float through. I'm going to count from 5 down to 0, and each count will allow you to relax even more and let go even more. Beginning on the count of 5. And drifting down from 4 now to 3. Just allowing and allowing and allowing. And go down to 2 now. Even long-term meditators have thoughts. What's important is that you don't hang on to them. Just let them float by. And from 2 down to 1. Letting go with every breath. Know where you have to be. Nothing is required. Just be present and allow whatever happens to happen. You may feel like you're falling asleep, and that's fine too. Or you may be hanging on every word that I say. That's fine too. And from 1, going even deeper, with each sound of my voice and each breath that you take, going deeper and deeper and deeper. From 1 down to 0. Just let yourself go. Let yourself go even more. Whoa. Going deeper and deeper and deeper. Any sounds you hear, take you deeper into your own inner forest, your inner magical forest where there is wisdom galore and guidance galore and information just for you. And you realize that you may have been a little out of balance lately. But that's okay because you have the power to regain your equilibrium. You are able to do this. It's part of your human mechanism. And so one thing that you can do is take yourself into nature. It's best to do this alone. Go alone, be fully present. Look, watch, listen, breathe. Allow your head to be clear so that you can, with confidence and complete conviction that you're doing the right thing, walk away from a situation. You are totally entitled to walk away from any situation. Remember to let go of the drama, the pain, the hurt, the betrayal, the lack of trust. Let go of that. In essence, you can bury your hatchet, even if you remember where you buried it. But you can bury it and move on. In any situation, there are many ways to respond, especially if it's an emotionally charged situation. Allow yourself to get grounded before you speak. Sit, feet on the ground, or stand, feet on the ground, and breathe. The answers will come. You will know what to say from a grounded, centered, mature place. Your claircognizance ability is increasing as you become more and more aware of listening to your body and listening to your thoughts. No longer do you disregard or toss away thoughts that seem to come out of nowhere and may be inconsequential. No. You realize these are gifts. Gifts from the other realms. You acknowledge them. You give thanks for them. Things may pop into your mind, solutions, ideas, visions. Take heed. See if they resonate with you. See if they're right for you. And express yourself. You are not trapped in any situation. You can express yourself. You can express yourself physically by removing your body from the presence of someone who is toxic or a situation that does not feel safe or good to you. You also are learning more and more how to communicate so that your message can be well heard. Using I statements, we, us. After you've expressed yourself, you've done your part. You don't need anything else. You don't need anything from that person. Sometimes just expressing yourself is you taking care of you, instead of looking for you to be taken care of by that other person. But it's not going to happen, so it's going to be a futile attempt, because your vibrational frequency may be higher than that other person's, so they can't conceive of what you might need. But you can, because you are you, and you can give yourself the love, the respect, the acceptance. And part of that respect is respecting yourself enough to walk away from a situation. Physically walk away, disengage emotionally, disengage from conversation. And ideally letting the other person know that right now I'm not comfortable talking about this, so I'd like to pick it up again another time, which we will decide upon. Simple. And the wisdom that came from the secret forest, deep within you, is that you are stronger than you know. And challenges that happen to you make you even stronger still. All of the trauma, all of the challenges, all of the hardships you've experienced have made you the incredibly strong person that you are. That is part of life's lesson, to know that these challenges are helping us build strength. Strength does not mean that you overpower people. Strength can be a calm inner strength of conviction, because you are grounded to a energy that is greater than yourself, that you are connected to, where guidance comes from, where knowledge comes from, where direction comes from, that you are divinely loved, and that everything about you is perfect in this moment. We are always fine-tuning ourselves, but in the moment, everything is just as it should be. Stay present. And going deeper. Taking some time now to allow these words that resonate in the depths of your soul to become incorporated into your perception of how you see yourself in the world. There's nothing you have to do. Your mind knows what to do. Your brain knows what to do. Using the tones that you will hear will plant these seeds firmly in your mind, so that they will begin to manifest immediately and in the near future. This will happen automatically without you doing anything, because that higher power knows exactly what is best for you and what needs to be incorporated into your psyche. You may hear sounds and you may hear silence. All of it is perfect. Allow yourself to just let go and trust during the rest of this guided meditation. Any sounds you hear allow you to go even deeper into your own experience. for taking this time for yourself. I honor you for giving yourself this gift to allow yourself to recalibrate, re-energize, renew, and take from this whatever value is meant to be for you. Thank you for joining me in this dimension. I look forward to meeting you again here in the future, which would be the now. As we move into it. Many blessings to you. And namaste.